Maybe kind of sit up. You look like
I will.
slouchy.
I will.
Hi, babies. It's Mother Love and Mr. Kennedy here.
Hey.
And man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. It's just been a whirlwind of politics and crazy sugar honey iced tea. So let's start talking about the Kamala Harris. She is running for president. President Biden said, "Okay, for the betterment of the country, I'll bow out and I will support Kamala Harris for the presidency of the United States of America." Right after that, she was able to raise $81 million like in a 24-hour period. What do you think her chances of winning are?
Well, she got a good chance because it's a contrast between old and young and younger. So she's it's like at least a 20-year difference between her and the president. And everybody has been, not everybody, but most people have been saying we need younger people running for the office. Now we have a younger person running for the office, so that does make a difference.
A huge difference. And I mean, that's like shooting down all of the stereotypes. She's a woman. She's a woman of color. She's a former district attorney. She's a former prosecutor. She got some meat on her. She got a lot of meat on her.
I mean, circumstances being what they were, I mean, it was probably the best choice and a choice that could quickly help to unify people versus there being a big fight. I mean, I know some people have said, why not and just let all the delegates be free, and then come the convention in August, let them decide on the floor who might become but you will lose 3 weeks worth of campaigning. And if people honestly believe that this is a fight for the soul of the country, for us, whether we're going to be truly a democratic country or this become a democracy, a theocracy.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. And then,
that makes a big difference. So it was a good thing that he put his support behind her. I mean, if he had not supported her, it would have caused a whole lot of problems, because people would have said, well, why didn't you pick your vice president? If she's been your running mate for the past 4 years, and you said all along that she was fit and ready to become commander-in-chief, it became necessary not to have picked her, would have said maybe you weren't sincere about what you were saying in the first place. That when you said that you wanted the two of them, I mean, that you believed in her because she was your vice president from the start. It made a lot more sense and a lot less time of bickering and people arguing about who should be the nominee for us to move forward if we want the Democratic Party to win in November.
And we've got to do that. We cannot keep looking in the rear view mirror. Stand on what you believe. She's on for Affordable Care Act, paid family leave, better child care services. Pete Buttigieg is out there kicking butt and taking names. I don't know if you saw this cartoon, was a sketch, and it's a bridges, and it says Joe Biden bridging gaps, because that's what he's been doing. And Pete Buttigieg is out there, talking about how it is absolutely critical and necessary that we rebuild our infrastructure. Roads are falling apart, and it's just like all kind of chaos going on. And then they want to come in. We're gonna get to that. And this new plan that the Republicans claim they have.
Okay, well,
with the Project 2025.
Well, that's not something new.
Well, okay, they've been talking about this for the longest time.
I mean, it's that they believe that the timing is right now to implement it. It's not that there's not things that they've talked about in the past that they want to do. I mean, some of these ideas are not new ideas. These ideas ever since the Civil War.
Right. Okay. That's my point. You want to live all the way back to there and say, okay, this is what we want to do. We want to make America great again. How you going to make America great if you want to live back 2 centuries? That's like speeding back, thinking that they're in a time machine. I don't know what they're thinking. But to sit up and say, okay, we want to get rid of public education, and we want to have a prayer in the schools, and they could only be Christian prayers, and they want to dictate what a woman does to her body. I mean, they got a list of stupid.
Well, it's not a list of
stupid. It's a list of stupid.
Okay, when you say look,
it's a list of ignorant, stupid, ignorant.
Okay, so the discussion is, you don't agree with what they want to do. I mean, it's not stupid for them to want to do this. I mean, this is wait a minute. It's something that they want. They say that just like you want things, they want things.
They want to tear down all of the big, all the banks, everything to suit them. They're only looking out for them. They're not looking out for the whole of America. They could give less than a flying crap about the soul of America.
Okay.
I mean, when you want to do all this kind of, we just gonna dismantle public education. We're gonna dismantle what a woman does that wants to do to her body, because we old white men and we know better than what a woman could do, because she can't make decisions for herself because she's too emotional. I mean, the list it's old, it's antiquated, it's sexist, it's racist. They hate everybody. They want to bust up the unions. And then this is what you want to turn a democracy, which freedom is not free. We have to fight for it constantly. That you would want your party, the Republican Party, to dismantle institutions simply so you could have your way. Okay, it's one thing to have your way, but it's another thing to want to put it off on other people, because you don't want to accept what they're thinking. You don't want to accept what needs to be done. You want to say, well, we want to do this and we know better about child care. Women need to get out the workplace in the first place. They still don't want us. I remember getting into talk radio and they told me, we don't have women in talk radio. My question was, why? Well, we really don't want to hear your opinion, mother love. We just want you to do fluff stuff. I'm like, I don't know from what that means. And then when I found out what it meant, they want to tell me what kind of subject to talk about, how long I could talk about it. I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this radio station for you, because you seem like you know better than me about what I'm supposed to say. So the biggest thing is we want to quiet all the voices of the people that want to stop the browning of America. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, once again, are you asking me to defend what they're doing? I'm trying to explain what they're doing.
Not asking you to defend it.
Then what am I saying then? That's the point. If there's no discussion. Okay, you said what you had to say. Okay, then what discussion do I have? If there's nothing to say about what somebody's doing for us to talk about it, is what I'm saying. It has to make a little sense what I'm saying about what they're trying to do.
So only your opinion counts. Only you could be right.
Did I say anything about only my opinion about anything? No, I did not. I said having a discussion, and that's not automatically that means only what I say is right. No, I said a discussion is not only but what I say is right. I thought we were talking about what they are talking about doing, what Democrats are talking about doing. That's having a discussion about what they want to do. Because if you don't know what they want to do, then you honestly don't. How do you know what to defend?
They tell you what they want to do.
Okay.
Right to our face, they tell you. The Republican Party tell you exactly what they want. This is what we want. We want to control and dictate America. We want to make sure that Americans are doing what we want them to do. They don't get to make a choice. So they really want to just dismantle democracy because they want to stay in power. But we're not an autocratic country. We don't sit there and do that. We do get up and do things. And this is about freedom. And this is about how delicate it is. And then you get to see how greedy people are and how they want to hold on to power no matter what. It is important. It's extremely important. Hey, E-Groove, she done came in. What's up, everybody? And everybody else who makes sense. Women, next generation, and everybody else who makes sense, vote, vote, vote. Kamala Harris is going to make a great president. We must back her up. That's what E-Groove say on the old school music. And then we got Kenneth Price on saying, come on now, both politicians stink. And pro-choice arguments are the same arguments that slave owners use. Okay?
Well, it is, and in a sense that I've been saying this for years, not just recently. I've said it and we repeat it again about women having to care about themselves, about their daughters, about their sisters, about other women on the planet, period. If you're allowing men to make their only decisions and I don't hear even not one woman saying, okay, well, I want to propose a bill on what should be done to men, because without that man being there, I would never have been pregnant. Maybe that would make the men think more about these laws that they're wanting to pass. If it also was accompanied with penalties against them, just like they want to say they want to send women to jail. If you have an abortion, you want to send the doctor to jail if he no,
or she performs an
or
abortion.
he or she performs it. Well, then what penalty should the man have that he can't get out of? If you're saying that this is what should happen to the woman, this is what should happen to the doctor, what should happen to the man who got her pregnant? Because without him, she would not be in this situation at all. I'm saying there's no discussion at all that comes out about that. It just simply is saying, okay, why is the man trying to dictate? Well, what are you saying back to him that maybe may make him stop and think for a moment and say, wait a minute. What I'm saying, if I really looked at it, I'm the one who got off scot-free. All I have to do is just be there to get you pregnant, and now I'm not being asked to do anything else. But I'm telling the woman what she can and cannot do if this should happen to her. That's what I'm saying about bringing that discussion up.
It's just so hypocritical.
But if you never mention it,
well, you mention it quite often
because I want people to think about it for a moment. That how do you get people to start really thinking? Because part of it, if you only hear one thing, if all you hear is them saying abortion, we want to limit your abortion, but you never make them to expand that any more than just simply saying, we don't want abortion.
Well, it's not just that, just that's what people think that all Planned Parenthood does is they're there to make sure women have abortions. Planned Parenthood is a healthcare entity that allows people to make a choice, whatever they want to do. And then it's not just abortions. They don't want to have medical care. They shouldn't get medical care. They shouldn't have.
They're not saying they shouldn't get medical care.
They're telling the LGBTQ company, sector of the company, the community, that they don't deserve health care. So and you telling women that if they want to have a baby or choose not to have children, it's like damned if they do, damned if they don't. I have to say they because I'm not in that ilk anymore, and so when you sitting up and you telling the woman where you get pregnant, that's on you. I mean, I don't know how many guys I heard say when she come and say, "Oh, Ralph, I'm pregnant." How did that happen? Who's the baby's daddy? Okay, Eric, you know how it happened, but you wanna, get away from it. I know a lot of guys that was in the military, down south, up north, all around, that will abandon these women when they have these babies or while they're pregnant.
I have a question for you. Okay, when it probably helped everybody is that we didn't jump so quickly into sex that we actually got to know the person. I mean, no, you look at me.
So you trying to say?
Wait a minute. Let me finish. If to say that there's no desire on either part. Okay, just like we know that sex happened because both parties want to have sex. The only body who's being punished is just the woman. It's not the man is not being punished at all. And that's
how is it? What kind of punishment you, as a man, would you say they need to go through? Or they need to be responsible for?
That they should be held liable, if nothing else, until that person turned 18. Period. That you can't file bankruptcy, you can't do anything but have to financially support that person until they turn 18. Because that's being fair to the woman. If you're telling her that she can't have an abortion, she can't make any choices.
Okay, let me ask you
any of her own choices. Okay, she have to do this.
Okay, I was watching this TV show with Iyanla Vanzant, Fix My Life. And she had this guy on the show that has over 30 children. Okay. He had kids with sisters and with first cousins, and one of the things she did when he was talking about just what you're talking about, you made these babies, you should be there to support them. And he was like, well, I support my kids all the time. And the kids are like, and he got them from like newborns up to, young adults. And they was having his babies. Okay, what she did, helping you get a visual. What she did was she bought in a lot of baby dolls, and she started putting the baby dolls in his hand, all on his arm, on his back, all these babies sitting. And she looked at him and said, "So how are you gonna take care of all these kids?"
I remember that. Remember that? Okay, wait a minute. But he had babies with sisters.
Yes.
Okay, so what was the sisters thinking? I mean, see, part of this is you having some self-respect for yourself. If you know that this man is already talking to your sister or had a child with your sister already, well, then why are you even getting involved with him at all? I mean, see, you got to have some morals and scruples. Say, wait a minute. I'm not gonna go behind my sister and be messing with you. And you already got a child with my sister. I already know if you're not using protected sex if you having more than one child. I mean, more than likely they knew that, but they still got involved with that man anyway. If the law was on the books that said that he had to take care of them financially for the first 18 years, period.
Why do people think you've grown at 18?
Okay, well, that's what it is at the moment. But what else would you do for him to be more responsible? You need two parties to be responsible, not one, two. Both parties have to be responsible.
Okay, now let's in that vein.
Yes. I see a couple other folks.
Hey, Star, what's up? Star Sosa, she said. You are too funny. She said, eliminate love songs that mostly imprise sex.
Oh, well, that's another way to try to help. I mean, but because
I'm glad I got to listen to Marvin Gaye and Al Green and all them before they start talking about get rid of the love song. It's a lot of babies on the planet for love songs.
Right, but she just said that's just one of the
I
ways.
want sexual healing.
I mean, but that's what songs are about, trying to get people together, to get us to care about one another. And that's what we need to do more of today, is to care more for one another. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. It's not that you're not going to have sex. That we ask people, we talk to people all the time about being responsible. Okay, if you go into a relationship, these are some of the questions maybe you do have to ask right up front before you get truly involved with somebody. Do you want to have kids? If you don't even bring the question up, it's like, well, if I don't bring it up, if you don't bring it up, then we'll just worry about it when it happens. Okay, but that's like after the fact, though, when the consequences are a lot more, dire now than they were before. When you're telling a woman, if she gets pregnant now with a lot of these bills that have been passed in different states throughout the country, that she don't have an option, but then that becomes to me more essential now, that you have to have that conversation with somebody in advance. No, what are your intentions? Do you want to have a family? If I got pregnant, would you be here? If you never ask these questions, because most of us don't want to ask those questions because we just want to have a good time. We don't want to ask the hard questions. It's just sometimes the hard questions have to be asked a lot more now because the laws have changed.
And people's mindsets have changed. Women, Egru said, I play slow jams all day on my show and I don't have sex. Those songs don't mean you have to have sex. Y'all just nasty.
Well,
I'm going to tell you who really nasty. They crack me up, and I know what
was that.
Women who think their biological clock is ticking away. And I'm like, don't do it now. If you don't want to be raising a kid, and that's the way, we're supposed to have our childbearing years from like what 8? Well, no, by the time you're 12, you start your period, you could become pregnant.
Okay, do you want a girl at 12 to be having a baby?
No,
she can.
I don't want people that's too young when that underwear's on fire and they understand the importance and the respect.
I'm agreeing with you, and I said, okay, you can start having babies at 12. No, I don't think there's anybody that's saying, oh, we think that's a good idea to start having babies.
No,
okay,
it's not.
Right.
15, 18,
Okay, but the fact being, when you do decide, having these questions with your partner does matter a lot more now because the stakes are a lot higher. That's what I'm saying. A lot higher now than they ever were before. When you in so many different states now that do not allow you, to make that decision. When you find out that you're pregnant, it's a way for you to make a decision.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I've been pregnant. Boy,
okay.
I'm pregnant.
All right.
And it can happen, where you don't have any, like morning sickness or something like that. When the first time I knew I was pregnant, actually, I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. He told me I was pregnant.
Okay, but you
said I'm like, wait a minute.
You knew that you were pregnant.
No,
that's the difference.
No, you said,
okay, I said one
pregnant.
thing. What did you say?
I was like, no, I'm not.
Okay, wait a minute.
No, I'm not.
Wait a minute. But the point you were bringing up was how, when you finally knew that you were pregnant, was it, according to a lot of these laws, was it too late if you had said, okay, well, I don't want to have this child?
No.
Could you have terminated the pregnancy?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I couldn't.
And that's what the problem is.
Most of us, when you first get pregnant, you don't really kind of know you're not pregnant. You don't know if you're really pregnant until you miss a period, and then you miss 2 periods.
Okay,
that's 2
60
cycles.
days.
Yeah, that's 60 days.
Okay,
60 days, 6
because
weeks.
If it's if it takes 9 months for you to have the baby, if you don't know for the first 2 months, there's only 7 months left. There.
Right.
For you and you and the father to be able to make any kind of decision one way or the other. I'm saying with a lot of the laws that they passed,
Right.
it does not allow you the time to be able to say, well, I want to do something different, or I would like to do something different.
Right.
Or no.
Having kids, I wouldn't say that it's we want to do something different.
When I say something
Women,
different,
I remember one of
you
my,
understand what I'm saying?
I do.
I'm actually saying, women, we should have been having this discussion
From the beginning.
because there are people out there who really, they say, I don't want to have kids. That don't mean they don't want to have sex because they don't want to have kids. Okay, then
well, if you don't have sex with her, then you won't have any kids. But then there are women who will quote trick the guy.
Okay,
you know, I'm taking both control, so you don't have to wear a condom.
Okay,
I'm on the rhythm method. And look it up, Google it, y'all. Yeah, we every 28 days they was marking. I mean, they was following.
Okay.
Shoot, my mother knew faster than me when my period was coming. I'm like, because you can count it. It takes 9 months to deliver a healthy baby, a healthy. Sometimes the pregnancy is not viable.
Okay, just
sometimes you know the mother can't, cannot. Her uterus will not allow her to, hold the baby for that long.
Okay.
And like I said, and everybody goes through it differently. I mean, one of my best girlfriends, I told you the story before. We outside sitting on the porch, just chit-chatting, and she leaned over like she was having like a cramp. Okay. And she said, "Oh, I'll be back in a minute." And it might have took her 20 minutes, in the bathroom. I could kind of nod off. I understand that. So then she comes back downstairs, and we sitting on the porch, and we just continue talking, and we hear this, yeah. So we thinking a cat that got in the house some kind of way. So they got up and they started. We didn't. The people that were still in the house, they got up and they started looking through the house for the noise.
Where the noise is coming from.
Okay. The baby was full-blown baby in a shoebox.
Okay.
And she had the baby, cut the umbilical cord, tied it off, and came downstairs like nothing happened.
Okay.
And I asked her, I said, "Wait, didn't you know you were pregnant?" She said, "Well, I didn't know I was pregnant until I was about 7 months pregnant." And she didn't, her stomach didn't get big or anything.
Question that I would have. Okay, even if she didn't know, but then she knew 7 months in. Mm-hmm. Okay, then why did she start taking precautions then? I mean, to me, that's being irresponsible to just say, okay, well, I just go upstairs, have the baby, clean myself up, clean the baby up, and then come back downstairs as if nothing had happened. I mean,
to this day, I cannot wrap my head around.
That's a lot to try to envision that somebody would go and have a baby, clean themselves up, clean the baby up, because you have to clean both of you up after the baby is born,
right? And
then come back downstairs as if nothing was happening. Okay, mentally, that's okay. Just like the comment was being made here, we need sex education. There's no way of getting around it. If you don't talk to people about the consequences and the things, then how do you better prepare men and women for this if you try to ignore it? Oh. Because when it's something that's natural, but then not to talk about it, not to bring it up. That's what I would say in school. We need to be like teaching finance in school, mm-hmm. teaching morals, and saying, well, these things should be taught at home. I mean, if we look at the family structure at home, it's not
cohesive to that.
Well, suited for that
and
right now.
It's got to be.
You need to bring it in some kind of way to help people.
It's got to be a team effort. I grew up in a village. I grew up in a village, and there were people around us that were there to help us, guide us through, and help us grow, and our minds grow, and how to commune with one another. Okay. We had a village. Most of the people in my neighborhood, most of the families, there were 2-parent households. One was one father was in the military. I think he made it all the way up to some kind of big giant job he had, so he was gone all the time, and everybody just rallied around him. You don't leave him out there on the street. We were one of the little boys. Oh, I felt so bad for him. His mother was not mentally equipped to take good care of him. She didn't take good care of herself. She unfortunately she
what happened with in her case?
She was not mentally well, for one thing. And she was just having sex with at random men to get drugs and alcohol.
So where was her parents?
I never knew where her parents were. She seemed like she was abandoned, that she didn't know anything, and so she didn't teach her sons anything. Okay,
wait, I'm not disagreeing. I was just asking a question because she still had parents. I mean,
but we never saw them. We never saw her grandparents. And we never saw her parents.
So how she just came and hung out and then she disappeared?
She got some kind of check, where she was well, she didn't disappear. She set her apartment on fire, and because she went to sleep with a cigarette in her hand. and they said she was not mentally fit to be, with these kids. So they removed the kid. Well, they wasn't really removing kids back then. They just told her, you got to get yourself together. And every day, snow, rain, sleet, or hail, this little boy, he couldn't have been no more than 3 or 4 years old, was sitting outside in the snow, no coat, freezing, calling for his brother, calling for his mother. And I said, I'm not going to walk past this child one more time and not stop. And I remember a couple of times I took another route because I saw him and said, well, I'll go around and he won't be able to see me and I won't see him. And then he was still out there. And I just went and got him, brought him in the house. And, I tell you how people, bring in cats and varmints. My mother collected people who weren't disconnected because she wanted them to know that she saw them, that she heard them. And so we got to bring the little kid in. I was working and bring the little baby in. I washed him up and looked like he hadn't had a bath in, I can't even tell you. I didn't even know a little kid could get that nasty. Cleaned him up, went across the street to the secondhand store, and we went to, remember Giant Tiger? That was like the little neighborhood store. Went to Giant Tiger and got him some underwear, some socks, and, some clothes. Went up to the secondhand store and got him, some more pieces. Got him a coat. My mother kept saying, this is not your child. You can't be taking care of this baby like that. And I was like, well, Mama, somebody, got to do something. You take care of people. I remember waking up with a baby in the drawer because it was a good place for the baby to be. And she always made a way. They always made a way for us. They made a way for other people. And I thought, he's just a baby. So, and I must have took care of him for a good 2 years because I went away to college at 17 and I started taking care of him like when I was 14, 15 years old. And I said, well, can I take him with me to college? They said, no, you cannot bring him to college.
I have a question though. Okay, who child was it though? I mean,
he was one of the neighbors' children.
That's the question. You keeping him, you taking care of him. Okay.
Oh, she was happy as a pig in slop.
Okay.
Because I ain't got to look at him. I ain't got to take care of him. I don't even know who his daddy is. Can you go to the store and give me some cigarettes and a beer? That's what I got from her.
Okay. In that particular, that's, to me, that's not a good example because she was not equipped to be bringing people into the world when she was not ready herself, and not to have a husband in the mix. That's one of the biggest problems.
All the time, husbands ain't good. I know people that have been in abusive relationships.
Wait a minute, and you've also known people that have been in great relationships. Right. To sit back and always talk about the bad situations only, as if to say that people. Without two people getting together to start with, you can't have a child made in the first place. To say that them two people should not help bring this child up.
So what if she go to a sperm bank and she get one of number 67525, whatever they say?
They could also tell who the daddy was. They still know who it is. They just didn't tell you. That's the difference. They still knew what man came in there and donated their sperm. They did know that.
I thought we was I have to look that up.
Yeah, see, but the point that I'm trying to make is that doing everything being just willy-nilly, okay, whatever happens, just happens. No, if we really care more about one another, we would take the time to get to know one another before we start engaging in sex. That's why sex education in school is a great idea. If you don't talk to kids, the things are a lot different now than when we were growing up. So to say, well, this is not necessary when you know that over 50% of the families now are run by a single person. They say that now that single person should be able to take on all the roles. Okay, the most important role is the other person that should be there helping taking care of that person because they help make it.
I don't think
but that's letting the man off the hook. That's another simple way of saying he's off the hook because if he wasn't right, well, then maybe I shouldn't be having sex with him to start with it if he wasn't right.
What about
if he wasn't right?
Because women are raped every single day. They're raped by their husbands. They're raped by a stranger. They're raped by uncles. And they get pregnant. And they saying the laws want to say, well, that ain't our problem that you got raped, and so you pregnant.
What law said that?
That's what the politicians want to do. That's what Republicans want to do. Okay. They want to say that a woman does not know what she's talking about when she says, I don't want to have a baby. I want to terminate this pregnancy. And what a lot of people don't really understand about abortion, doctors usually don't perform abortions, after like 6 weeks. No, was it 6 weeks or 10 weeks? That's like
Okay,
3 months,
I'm
something
back.
like that. Okay, but it's soon enough to say where she can make a decision, or they can make a decision together where I want to terminate this pregnancy because I'm not ready for this, or I was raped, or I was sexually assaulted, or my granddaddy did this to me and I don't want to have anything to do with him. I mean, I've heard it so, unfortunately, so many times, and men don't understand. Rape is not about
Okay, but
sex.
that
Rape
ain't
is
all men.
part about power.
Okay, but once again, we check out a small group and try to make that be the whole group. Wait a minute, looking at the bigger group, not just the smaller group, because the men who did the rape and stuff, that's not all men. Wait a minute, that's
We got that.
Okay, wait a minute. We don't have that, because part of trying to change this is that we have to be far more responsible on both parties, because there's no such thing if we don't talk about it and discuss it. Then you say, okay,
Oh, well,
what happened?
when I was growing up, when we were growing up,
when
we were growing up, and I grew up with a bunch of girls, with a bunch of guys, and they used to always say, it's time to sit down with the kids and give them the talk. And I'm like, what's the talk? Then we just go through a whole episode and a series of why you don't do drugs, because you're too broke to do drugs, and drugs take a lot of money.
That was your family?
That was a bunch of families. We never even thought about doing drugs, because that was not the way that we were raised.
But in today's world, how many people, honestly, because it's a single family now. It's far more single families to say that how many, for example, how many people that how many men want to talk to their daughters about sex? How many women that that be eager to talk to their son about sex? Eager to talk to their son.
Well, I don't know about
daughter.
eager. It became a necessity, and it was time to tell us.
Okay, so I'm saying, when we're looking at today's society, because this is what's happening to people right now because of the laws that have been changed. So I understand what we did when we were growing up, but the laws were different then. We talking about the way the laws are now.
There were no laws.
Okay. And that's why you develop laws, because you have to govern people, so people just don't do whatever they choose to do with no consequences. That's why you have make laws, because if you made none, then nobody would feel responsible for anything.
It would be like the purge.
Okay, and would that be a good thing?
No.
So we want to,
but we need,
make
and
people
we
to be
need
more responsible,
and we need to talk to them.
Yes.
And men got to be open about it. I remember when we got to talk. We got to talk, and sat down, and my mother scared the bejesus out of me. I was like, I don't want. Can we do something about that? Can I? What can we do? Do I have to have a uterus, or what happened? She was like, you better listen to what I'm saying, and I listened to what she said. Oh, I did. And
I just was reading a comment.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm sorry.
Marijuana is cheaper. Edibles are $20. The cookies are good. These are my people. If you're going to fool around with no responsibility, what's wrong with condoms and pills and female condoms and everything else? Why do they have to get pregnant? Knowing all we know now. My mother was a good determined.
That's a good statement that's being made. That's what I've been saying. That if we know that there are things that both parties can do to prevent unwanted pregnancy. Right. That both
just
parties
don't do.
Wait a minute. Well, I mean, that's
because if you're gonna have sex,
okay, we've been realistic.
You just gotta be prepared.
Okay, then taking.
I was terrified of sex because I'm like, but I wouldn't know.
Okay, but once again, we're talking about
nowadays,
today, and because
human beings and anatomy has not changed since the beginning of time,
changed.
And so the hormones are going to be raging by the time you 12, 14 years old. Then that's when you got to have a conversation.
Okay, wait a minute. But based on the laws, it is no way of getting around it because the laws are different now. If you live in a state where you can be pregnant, and before you even know that you're pregnant, you can't even make any decision because the decision's already been made that after so many weeks you can make the decision's out of your hand. Then the discussion about the birds and the bees, however you want to call it, has to be something that has to happen a lot younger in age because of the consequences behind the actions that of the laws that have been passed. that's the difference with the laws that have been passed now.
That's why
it makes a big difference.
That's why it is absolutely extremely important. If you're 18 or you're going to be 18 before the election, please, please, please go and register to vote, and make sure you get out there and have your voice heard, yay or nay. Don't just sit up and say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to vote because they're not going to do anything for me." I remember when Barack Obama got nominated. And then after he won that election, and then he ran for a second time, and he won that election. I think a lot of them people that's sitting up on the hill almost would have gone back crazy because. I thought we weren't talking about for the whole time. I'm pivoting.
Okay, well, I didn't. Okay, excuse me. I missed the pitch.
Okay, you missed the pitch.
Okay,
I
missed it.
Okay, forget about. Okay, because I want to talk about something else with the GOP that's going on right now. Okay. And I did have a really good thought, but see, this is what happened when you get that beat. This. Listen. I know.
Okay, that's all. I was, but that's why I was lost.
Wait a minute.
You started talking about Obama, like, wait a minute, we were talking about abortion. We were talking about abortion, also you said Obama, okay, because he's no longer president.
I get that.
Okay, so I said that's why I was lost for a moment there. That's all.
I'm
telling you, I was lost because I didn't know that you had pivoted.
Okay, well, not okay. Anyway, I'm not pivoting on him right now.
Okay,
I want to talk about Kamala Harris, and who do you think would be her best choice or a smart choice for her VP? I mean, now that the 45th has picked his GP, his vice president, what I say GP, GP, VP, BP, it picked his vice president. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in a moment. And we were talking about Kamala Harris earlier, and that she's has really right away brought people together. And just so y'all know, we at Kamala Harris, we part of the Divine Nine. She's a soror. She's not my soror, but in spirit we sisters always. She's a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I have many of my best friends at Alphas, and what they call them, the AKAs, and the A5As, and and seeing that Galvin, and it's like hundreds of thousands of people in the Divine Nine, and hundreds of thousands of people that we know. And so using those connections, and listen, VP, Miss Kamala Harris, y'all people you can come be on the Mother Love Show. I would be honored to have you come in and represent the United States of America. I think it's gonna be great. And
okay, well, you asked me what I thought.
I'm asking what you
never stopped.
Okay,
for me to tell you. Okay, I think the governor from Pennsylvania would be. I mean, I would hope he would be top on the list for the fact that they need Pennsylvania to win the election. I mean, you have to look at it strategically because it doesn't take all the states for you to win. It only takes key states for you to be able to win to get to the 271, the magic 270 to be the next president. Until we change that, and it just be the popular vote, which they should have changed a long time ago, to the popular vote. We have this game inside a game.
Okay, so do you believe that the Electoral College is antiquated and needs to be dissolved?
Yes. It should have been dissolved a long time ago. And that's hopefully when Kamala Harris...
her name is Kamala.
Kamala. When she becomes
not Kamala.
When she becomes president, that with the next Congress, that they will do away with the Electoral College. But it's not just one person can do that. No. It takes the Congress to amend the Constitution to take out that amendment that allows the delegates to make the choice, because it should be by popular vote.
It should be.
I mean, we are sophisticated enough as human beings now in this day and age that it should be basically on the popular vote, not on Electoral College, that you get to say, well, if I win this state and that state, then that'll get me to the 270 that I need to become president. Not that it should be based on everybody voting, because that discounts a lot of other people's votes when you use the 270 as the threshold on who becomes the next president.
All right. And I believe she's going to be able to pull that off. And we got to pool our resources together.
Right. And you got to put other people in office with her. Mm-hmm. I mean, because see, you don't.
Oh, they're going up and down the ballot.
Right. Reason why? Because a lot of times we forget that. We put the person at the top, but then give them no support at the bottom, and then say, well, why they didn't get these things done? they didn't get them done because they didn't have enough support. You got to get other people. When it comes down to Congress, it takes Congress to vote to pass these bills. The president can propose bills, but Congress has to be the one who makes write up the legislation, that votes on it in the House, that goes to the Senate. They both agree, then it's sent back to the president. So we need to put more people of like mind in office. It's the same thing that that people are saying, that the Republicans are saying to you now. Okay, we're like-minded on how we think about abortion rights, how we think about immigration rights, because if they honestly really thought a lot about the immigration problem, they had a bipartisan bill that came out of the Senate
a long time ago.
This year, just this year. And then the former president, because he wanted to run and use that as an issue to run on, said, well, don't pass it. So wait a minute, how can you in one breath you tell me that you're really concerned about the border situation, but then when you finally get a bipartisan bill together, then because I'm running for the office, I say, well, don't approve that because I want to use that as something to run on. So once again, I told you, with the past 30, 40 years, they just kicked that ball back and forth because both sides use it. So both sides are guilty.
Well,
both sides are guilty. I'm not truly wanted to rectify this situation because they only want to use it as something to run on for election time. If they really cared about the people in Arizona or the people in New Mexico or in Texas,
and Arizona,
in California, that we were
and the people are coming. They found a way to come through Canada. They'll come through Canada.
Well, I mean, if everybody's looking down here, and you say, "Well, you look at the back door, and I'll come in the front door, and you don't even notice me coming in the front door." I mean, who's been negligent? We as a country, because we want to use that as a political ball. We don't want to solve it. We keep saying we want to solve it.
What happened to the babies and the families that they had? That I'm probably sure are still locked up in cages, and they give them a metal blanket.
But once again, that's
or whatever.
Both parties are guilty, because you can both talk about how much you care or don't care. If you want somebody in the country, if you don't want them in the country, but what are we actually doing to solve it? Because they know that they could actually write up a bill, change the laws. They worked and worked to a bipartisan agreement, but then chose not to push it forward. Because once again, we start playing politics again with something. You play with people's lives and keep acting like
they're acting like they're moving them like pawns on a chessboard. When they went down, and I don't know if you remember this part, you guys. When the Republicans were taking buses down to the border and letting them get on the bus, and they take them and they said they're going to be able to get jobs and whatever lie they told them, and then they start busting them in California, busting them up in New York, busting them up because I think they dropped some of them off at Martha's Vineyard.
Okay, but that's also a political game being played, and I'm saying you're playing with people's lives though, and enough of us as voters, because we keep trying to always put it on party lines. Okay. You got to vote this way because of your party. You got to vote that way because of your party.
Okay, well,
I'm not trying to solve the real problem as a group because we're Americans.
I want to pivot.
Okay,
I want to pivot to the 45th president of the United States in Montana. Picked J.D. Vance from our home state, Ohio.
Yes.
To be his running mate.
Yes.
What is your take on that?
Well, from my taking from listening to other people and their comments and stuff,
just starting to get the gist of it.
Because most of us around the country did not know J.D. Vance. We just simply did, and I'm not trying to pretend like, oh yeah, I knew him well. No, I don't know him at all, and I'm having enough honesty about me to tell you I don't know that much about him. What I've read about him since he's been nominated, it comes to that he's far more of a disciple of Donald Trump than he is of being his own person. Okay, and if they're attempting to win back the White House, then you would have thought that he would have brought someone in that would help to expand the base.
So you don't think him being coming on the ticket with him is helping it, that he will bring in a new fan base?
Okay, first of all, he says this. Almost the same things, not word for word, but he's basically saying the same things that Donald Trump is saying. So if you're saying the same thing, you're not bringing expanding it, because they say, okay, when I listen to him, or I listen to you, it's like listening to the same person. You both are saying the same thing. But if you're trying to bring more people in because you're still trying to get elected, because that's the name of the game. You're trying to get elected.
And you tell whatever story you tell. Okay, I want to talk about J.D. Vance for a moment because I've done some research on him when he first got into, when he won the Senate in Ohio.
Okay.
And I wanted to, who is this guy? What does he do?
Okay.
One, he's a hypocrite. And two, he has no idea what he's talking about because he said, let me tell you what he said. He said, childless people, especially up on the hill, are being dismantling our rights to do thus and so, and they don't have any skin in the game. Kamala Harris doesn't have any skin in the game. AOC doesn't have any skin in the game.
No, who is AOC?
Alexandria.
Costa.
Okay, but let me tell you Pete Buttigieg, the Secretary of Transportation, and it's another one I can't remember that one. But I will. He said that childless politicians are dragging the country down, and they have no skin in the game because they don't have children. And he talked about saying that there are a lot of lonely women who are like cat ladies who are so disappointed with their lives, and they're so lonely. They got these cats, and I mean it just didn't make any sense.
But it did make some women. What he was trying to say, women. What he was saying.
Oh, here we go mansplaining.
It ain't about mansplaining, but you said no. He was just saying as if he just babbling. No, he was not babbling. What he was saying. Okay, once again, that as a man, I'm telling women that if you're complaining about child care or anything else, if you don't actually have kids, then you can't speak on it. Okay, well then what are coaches? What are people who can't play the sport but can teach the sport? So because if they can actually be better than Michael Jordan, then they shouldn't be trying to teach Michael Jordan how to play basketball, how to be a better basketball player. Because unless they play basketball, they can't actually talk about basketball. I mean, that's the reference he's referring to when he said, okay, simply because they didn't have kids, then they don't have any idea about what it takes to raise kids. Well, Buttigieg has adopted kids, so he does have skin in the game. If you say it's based on just simply having kids,
Kamala Harris is
Kamala Harris has 2 kids.
She got 2 kids.
And so he misspoke. But that's part of when you just spewing out hatred. You just throwing out words, and you're not really saying, wait a minute, do my research. Actually, if I'm going to call you out and say that you don't have skin in the game, maybe I should actually know whether that's true or not.
Right.
Okay. He didn't think about Buttigieg having adopted kids, so he does have skin in the game.
Kamala Harris got 2 kids.
Kids that she had herself.
No, she didn't have any for her step. No, she said they don't like this word stepmom.
Okay,
so they call her. They call her Mamala.
But the fact is, she has skin in the game because she has 2 kids.
Right.
For us to try to dictate how you can have kids,
right?
That determines how you can speak about a particular issue is wrong in the first place. That's simply wrong.
So he feels like very self-righteous because he has children, and unless you have children, you don't have any skin in the game. I'm like, what is he on? So somebody called his drug dealer because he sounds really crazy, and then to call women unself-satisfied, not self-satisfied. Yeah. They're lonely. They got these.
But that's another way of putting people down,
right?
To try to discount them because you don't like their point of view. Just like if they didn't like your point of view, if they talked about things that you said and things that you've done. I mean, if they talked about you and Project 25, which is talking about dismantling the Constitution as we know it. Okay, maybe they might not like you. If they said, oh, well, let me actually look at J.D. Vance. And he wrote the foreword to this book. He wrote the foreword to this book.
For the Project 2025.
So did the former president really vet him well when he was thinking about him being this running mate? No, because the president, the former president don't want to be associated with Project 25 right now. So, but by him bringing on, no, he don't, not now. The fact is you wait till I get in office, and then I could be all on top of it because
he said he wanted to get rid of the FBI, the CIA, everybody that done him wrong.
Okay, but listen to what I'm saying. At the moment he's not saying get rid of them. He said I won't talk about that because it's not a good talking point. I can act on it once I become president. See, that's the difference. When they say the bait and switch, I don't talk about this because I don't want you to look bad. You to look bad on me for saying that. But then as soon as I get in, I'm going right back.
If that is not the reason to make sure he never gets
well,
in.
I mean, but you have to know that,
okay,
though, right?
But okay, the Daily Show.
Yes.
You guys are hilarious. And men and women on the Daily Show are all hilarious. So they have this guy who's the man on the street.
Yes.
And he talks to people and they say the most asinine stuff to him. One lady said, well, she's standing up with her husband, and the reporter, I can't think of what his name is. I see his face, but he says, so how do you feel about the president talking about he can grab on a woman's private part? Her husband said, I wouldn't mind. And I'm like, okay, now we got two stupids, okay, and together they're in a cluster. And so this guy, JD Vance, I think it's just gonna bring a whole bunch of more stupid. I don't even think he's gonna get more people
when you say
in the plan.
More stupid, I mean, as people get to see, if you didn't know JD Vance, then it's hard to speak on somebody you don't know nothing about.
You can look it up, y'all.
Okay, but so that's why you want people to say get involved. No,
get involved and know
to take a moment to read some of the things that he's saying, some of the things that he's talking about doing, because it's wrong to just simply say, well, I don't like him and I don't know nothing about it. Because you don't want that done to you, so don't do it to him. Know who he is. No, you should know who he is, because then you know why you're not voting for him, why you're voting against him. Because if you don't know, then you can say, oh, well, I don't really know, so maybe I'll vote for them anyway. People do a lot of things when they get in the voting booth because they do not know.
Right.
You need to know. Okay, why are you voting on this issue? Okay, if it's saying it's going to raise your property tax, if you're not a property tax owner, then you say, well, I don't care. But then when your rent go up, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I voted to raise the property tax on the homeowner, but now he wants to raise my rent to cover what the new cost that he has. Oh, if I'd have thought about that, then maybe I wouldn't have voted for that property tax.
Wait a minute. Speaking of fees,
yes.
Do you know that the government has not raised the minimum wage for 15 years? That is still a lot in the country. $7.25 an hour. That's what, and they say they haven't raised the minimum wage, and they're just asking for twice as much money.
But then think about this though: if they have not raised the minimum wage in that long of a period, because I don't know the exact number of years, but the fact that 15 years, well then how come groups aren't not talking about that? I mean, just like here in California, they raised the minimum wage to $20 an hour for people in the fast food industry. Okay. They claimed, there was going to be disaster by them raising it to $20 an hour to pay these young people. Well, people still go to the fast food. If anybody's ever been passed by a fast food restaurant, you can barely get in the door.
Can't get in the door. What's the one?
So it didn't stop
In-N-Out Burger, Fat Burger, all the burger places.
So it didn't stop people. No. The companies made adjustments and to absorb that, because prices did go up, and people complain about the prices going up. But then you can't ask for the workers to get paid a decent wage and think that it's not going to cost you as the consumer something as well. So that's thinking a thing all the way through, and not just saying, well, all I heard
not
is
just the flash and the fluff. You got to get into the meat of the story.
Because I only heard this and I didn't listen to the rest. Well, if you heard that they was raising the minimum wage to $20 an hour here, and you say, oh, well, that's a good thing. Well, did you also think that when you went to McDonald's, the next time you went to McDonald's, instead of the meal being $5, now it's $7? And and so maybe that $2 don't bother you, but that's a consequence of them raising it, giving them a pay raise to $20 an hour. That part of the adjustment was that the prices for the food had to go up.
Right.
And so we need to know that we have to accept this and move forward.
If you eat, right.
I mean,
a lot of people still eat out. A lot of people still eat out. And what it is, folks, and this, we can't say it more.
You said they need to raise the minimum wage to $40.
Because of that stupid rent. They charge too much damn money, greedy bitches. I didn't say that. I'm just reading how the people feel. That's what she said.
But see, and that's another thing about in school. If we want to cure some of the ills of society, teaching people about greed in school, about not being greedy. If all you teach somebody is about grab.
Greed is what is greed is good. It was on one of those movies.
If we all thinking that way. We're all thinking about what we can get. Well, then how can you help somebody else if all you're thinking about is what you gonna get?
Well, I got mine. You should have been out there hustling like me. I got mine. You go get yours, and no, you can't have none of mine. You know, because people to this day, I tell you right now, me and Mr. Kennedy, we've been together a long time, and to this day, we have not
just a baby when it all started.
see, now,
I was a baby when it started.
No, why you started lying?
I didn't know lie. I was a baby.
You were not
I was still
a baby. You were not a baby.
Yeah.
You sound like I robbed the cradle.
No, I didn't say you robbed anything. I said I was still a baby. I didn't see you added on the robbery. I didn't get you no robbery. I said I was just a baby. That's the difference.
He wasn't no baby. When I met him, I thought
I was 30.
Innocent. I was innocent. 30.
See, and it's all gone now. It's history. But starting off, okay, no, that's why getting to know people. I told you that from the beginning. I wanted to get to know you. The one just simply said, "Oh, I met you."
I was crazy.
Well, and she is. So I wanted to verify. It took a while for me to verify that. Yes, I wanted to find out, because I tell our grandkids all the time, get to know whoever you're gonna hook up with. Don't just simply say, "Oh, I like you."
It's not a hookup. That's
okay,
not a hookup. That's a booty call.
Once again,
see, y'all think I knew that.
The fact when you're trying to tell someone to be cautious before they look before you leap. Look both ways before you cross the street. That getting to know somebody does help and prevent a lot of the bad things that we want to talk about. And we talk about all the bad things that happen, but we don't talk about how to prevent them from happening in the first place.
Or when they do happen, that you can allow it to be a learned lesson for you. You know, I jacked up, I be tore up from the floor up. Y'all don't even know. This man that came and got me up out the closet, pulled me up. Now you got to come and clean your face off. It's gonna be all right, baby. I got you. And
I want to throw this in.
Here we go.
This is even stupider than stupid. That they want you to believe that the young man who tried to attempt the assassination.
Oh, Lord.
Was flying a drone.
Oh, whatever.
Okay, wait a minute. So what is the Secret Service and all these policemen, all these folks you claim is here to protect? Didn't notice this drone flying around. Didn't notice this young man walking around surveying the area
with a big giant gun.
That nobody noticed.
An AR-15.
I mean. Talking about it being incompetent.
It was so sad.
Talking about being incompetent.
That was just
being incompetent beyond belief. You always want to not throwing somebody on the bus. There's no way. Now, first the CIA said, "Wait a minute, don't blame us because we were just right there on the stage. We didn't have somebody on the other end. We were just right there on the stage." No, that's.
Hello.
The fact that you want me to believe that the closest building to the stage, you didn't have nobody there. That the CIA said
it was on a slope. They said it was on a
slant. A slope, slant, upside down.
And how they get the picture of him laying on the top of the roof with a big shotgun?
Maybe with the drone that was flying around. So, and once again, people, open your eyes. That was such a setup. It had to be set up. There's no way possible that young man could have been doing all that, and nobody knew about it. Paid him any attention, and then until he started shooting, and I was like, now, and then on top of it, wait a minute. And the worst part of all this, that they want you to believe, is that they knew it was only that one person. How did you know there was only that one person? Wait a minute. Because there's only always one sniper. There's only one person who can attempt to do an assassination at an event. There's only one person. Never there are two people at these events.
Right.
There's always that lone wolf who can figure out all of the ins and outs to be able to pull off this event all by himself with no help.
Okay.
Come on, people, wake up.
Please wake up. And if you don't see that,
really?
I've been working in the entertainment industry for quite some time. And you see, I know when it's fake blood because I cook. And when they told me, when the special effects people told me how to make the fake blood. Okay, and they said we do it like this because it's K-roll syrup and red dye, and it sticks. Okay, and it sticks. Okay, what? This is what I want to ask you. Okay, wait a minute. After this alleged assassination attempt, okay, when he went down, I ain't seen no blood. When he came up, he had this splatter over his face, but it stopped right here.
Wait a minute. But that's the point. That's the
when did the ear start having the most blood come out of him? You cut your ear off, it's still here.
Okay, but the only
don't do it.
The only point I have, if anybody, I defy anybody on this planet.
Don't bet.
Okay, wait,
money.
no, I'm betting money. I defy anybody on this planet to cut their hand, their ear, their foot, their toe, and the blood stay in one spot. Now, if you can explain that one to me, that if you cut your hand right now, the blood gonna stay in one spot. How did the blood stop on his cheek? Wait a minute. How did the blood stop?
And it came this way.
The two lines on the cheek and stopped. Okay, wait a minute. It had that much time to dry.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Only way it could have stayed there in that one spot, it had to have dried. When he
went down, he didn't have any blood on him. And when he came up, it was like.
But blood is blood. Show me any time on any human being, on any animal, on anything that got red blood. If you cut that part, when does the blood stop running?
Well,
when does it stop running?
Okay.
Wait a minute. How can the blood stop running on your cheek? How could it stop running? If you're bleeding, how can it stop running?
And you think I'm animated?
I'm just asking.
I'm just telling.
I mean, if somebody could explain that to me, I would just truly want to know, how did the blood stop? How did it stop?
I will.
How did it stop?
Listen, we'll do that after the show.
Okay.
His medication is wearing off now.
Right.
He's got a little edge.
I'm just wondering, how did that happen? How did the blood just stop?
Okay, this is another one. Okay, this is another.
Our time is up.
Oh, is it? Wait a minute. This is another one. I just want to ask. Why you waiting? If your blood, if that much blood, why are you showing up in a public arena with a big giant white patch on your ear and you can't see no blood spilling?
Because they stopped all the blood, but that was the patch to keep it from being infected. But go back to the explanation. When did your blood stop running? When you get cut,
it starts coagulating
in less than 60 seconds. Wait a minute, that's some awfully tight blood that it just stopped running.
See this. This is why I have to watch him and have to give him instructions.
Maybe I don't know anything.
No, because you just get over here and you just lose your mind. Okay. Remember this, babies. No matter how big or tall, short or small, thick or thin, it matters not what skin you're in. Everybody needs some mother love now and then, even Mr. Kennedy.
I do.
So I'm just going to take him back there. Okay, don't be starting stuff you can't finish now. Don't get crazy.
Peace.
You know, we